back, ladies and gentlemen. I am Katie Stone, and this is Stone Second Sense. Now, today we are going to continue to cover the frame receivers case and how the ATF has responded back to the FPC's response to, well, the Supreme Court's granting them a stay up until August 4th. Now, depending on when you're watching this, that could already be over with, but it's still important to see how the ATF handled this, because you need to see it. Now, let's listen to the ATF's response. Respondents do not and could not deny the stark practical stakes of this case. The district court's universal vacatur would allow anyone with access to the internet to anonymously buy parts kits or practically complete frames or receivers and easily assemble a working firearm in as little as 20 minutes. And I don't know about you, but I think it would take me a lot longer than that to build out one of these, but whatever. It would virtually repeal the core provisions of the federal firearms laws and making untraceable guns freely available to felons, minors, and other prohibited persons. It would endanger the public. Anybody else want to tell them? Anybody else? Okay, cool. I guess I'll do it. Newsflash. If criminals want to break the law, they don't care if it's an 80% or a ghost gun or if it is a NFA item, because they don't care about your laws or your rules, okay? Just throwing that out there. Anyways, they also go on to say, the respondents offer no good reason to tolerate these grave harms during what could be years-long process. Ladies and gentlemen, they're pretty much admitting the fact that, listen, if you allow this to go nationwide and you take our stay away, this could allow people to be free and have freedoms. So in case you guys were wondering, that's what that was. So this is pretty much begging. And then they go on to say, if you're an ordinary English speaker, you would recognize how it's nearly complete firearms and blah, blah, blah. But ladies and gentlemen, let me just hit on a few more points that I found out. And while I was reading this, because I'm sure you don't want me to read this verbatim, I will link it below and you can read it yourself in the description. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit on a few things that I noticed that they used multiple times and things that just they didn't hit on at all. Like, they did not approach the comment about them overstepping. As the challengers quote in theirs, they said, those policy choices are for Congress, not ATF to make. Now, in ATF's response, they didn't even hit on this, which, I mean, rightfully so, because think about it. If you're the one that overstepping and you're breaking the law by making a rule when you're not allowed to make these, yeah, you probably wouldn't touch it either. They go on to say, ATF goes on to say, that we want you to grant a stay, but if you don't grant a stay, at least make that the stay apply to everyone who's not plaintiffs. If you're gonna let them win, let them only win with their small group. Don't let it go nationwide, because then we lose control. They showed all their cards, threw them out on the table. They're like, here's what I have. Please don't hurt me. Multiple times they say, because if you allow this to go nationwide, felons, minors, and those intending on crimes could use these to do bad things. Ladies and gentlemen, we have seen multiple times, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Criminals do not care what the law is or what your role is because, well, they're criminals. They break the law. It's what they do, and they do not care who it affects other than themselves. So, putting a new law in place or a new rule in place only harms the good people and the upright citizens who are trying to actually obey the law and the rules. Like, come on now, make it make sense, ladies and gentlemen. They also revert back and they try and justify their bicycle reference where they're like, oh, if you sell a bicycle and you sell it without pedals, well, it's still a bicycle, right? Didn't make sense the first time, but yet we're trying to reiterate that again. No, you missed the first time. You're missing the second time. We don't agree with you. We think it's ridiculous that you even use that analogy, so please go on with yourself. And then they also want to go on and say, listen, it's not going to cost that much money for you to comply. You just have to pay us a small fee. Just like we're paying small fees for NFA items. No thanks. But anyways, let's wrap it up and see if we can find the conclusions here. Now, in their conclusions, they say the application for a stay of the district court's judgment vacating the rule should be granted. At a minimum, The court should stay the district court's judgment to the extent that it applies to non-parties. And if the court does not stay the vacatur in full, it may wish to construe this application as a petition for writ of certiorari before judgment, grant the petition, and set the case for expedited brief and argument. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here they are once again saying, listen, please grant the stay, but if you don't, at least don't make it nationwide, because we don't want all the U.S. citizens to be allowed to have freedom. I think you guys know my thoughts on the ATF and this whole position, but I would love to hear yours. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Stay tuned. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Make sure you're checking out Braden over at Langley Outdoors Academy, as well as Second Legacy with Braden and Tim, because I know they're going to hit this. Also, we should be waiting on Alito's response to all of this, and if he's going to grant a long-term stay or if the stay is going to go up in smoke. Let us know what your thoughts are on this. Make sure you're subscribed, because I'm expecting this to get pretty spicy. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great day.